Aya Wilson can dunk on me, boy. No cap. For sure. As long as you know. I still can't believe motherfuckers watched Aya play all year, cause I know y'all finna say regular seasoner wore me to death, and thought she was not MVP. We can't have the same eyes.
I don't know, man. Correct.
It's okay. I got finals MVP. That's the real one. I appreciate that one. 4th place was crazy. And I know who voted me for it. All I know is Aya better be the 2K cover and have some fire signature shoes next year. From 4th place to first favorite, the betting odds just dropped and Aya Wilson's reign might be over. Caitlin Clark's already making WNBA history, but what the odds makers just predicted has everyone talking. It looks like Caitlin Clark has been picked to be the favorite to win the 2025 WNBA MVP. Here's why this isn't just another hot take. So we need to be completely honest about Aya Wilson here. Because these are some of the dumbest conversations ever in sport. The numbers don't lie. BetMGM just released their 2025 MVP odds, and Caitlin Clark sits at plus 250, right behind Aya Wilson's plus 185. This isn't just speculation or hype. It's backed by Clark's remarkable rookie season transformation that has odds makers rethinking everything they know about rookie development. At that point, but what would have to happen for Caitlin Clark to pass Aya Wilson in the MVP race? Aya would probably have to never not play any more games this year. Let's break down why this prediction carries serious weight. Clark finished 4th in MVP voting as a rookie. That's not just impressive, it's historic. Only one other player in WNBA history managed to win MVP in their first 2 seasons, Candace Parker in 2008. When you look at Clark's trajectory, the similarities are striking. And in some areas, Clark's numbers are even better. Her rookie season tells a story of adaptation and growth that MVP voters can't ignore. The first 20 games showed promise but didn't hint at what was coming. She averaged 16 points and 7 assists, solid rookie numbers that would have satisfied most teams. But Clark isn't most rookies. Something changed after the Olympic break that transformed her from rookie sensation to MVP contender. In those final 18 games, Clark exploded for 23.6 points per game. This wasn't just a hot streak. She figured out WNBA defenses. Her shot selection improved. The game slowed down for her. Veterans around the league noticed the shift. Diana Taurasi, not known for easy praise, called it one of the most impressive rookie developments she'd seen. Now she's working with new head coach Stephanie White. And this is where things get really interesting. White's not just any coach. She's known for maximizing offensive talent. Her system, built around quick decisions and constant movement, perfectly matches Clark's strengths. Early practice footage shows them working specifically on Clark's decision-making in traffic, addressing her biggest weakness from last season. The turnover issue needs addressing head-on because it's crucial to her MVP case. Last season, Clark averaged 5.6 turnovers per game, leading the league. But context matters here. She handled the ball more than any rookie in WNBA history. The Fever ran their entire offense through her from day one. Even veteran point guards would struggle with that responsibility. White's already implementing changes to help with this. They're working on off-ball movement to reduce Clark's time handling under pressure. They're adding secondary ball handlers to share the load. These adjustments should naturally bring those turnover numbers down without sacrificing Clark's aggressive playmaking style. The shooting efficiency story is fascinating too. Clark shot 41% from the field and 34% from three-point range last season. At first glance, these numbers might seem concerning. But dig deeper, and you'll find something remarkable. She faced more double teams than any guard in the league. Teams designed entire defensive schemes around stopping her. Despite this, she still managed to score nearly 20 points per game. She don't have none of the pieces that she has. That makes it easier for her to do her job. Asia can do her job with no pressure. With White's new offensive system, those percentages should rise significantly. The spacing will be better. The ball movement will be crisper. Clark won't have to force as many shots late in the shot clock. We're already seeing hints of this in practice footage, where Clark's working extensively on catch-and-shoot opportunities rather than always creating off the dribble. The Fever's overall improvement plays hugely into Clark's MVP case. Look at past MVP winners. They almost always come from top 4 teams. Indiana's win total jumped significantly during Clark's rookie year. But they need to take another step forward. White's arrival could be the catalyst for this. Her track record of developing young talent suggests the entire team will benefit from her system. 13-27 last year, they're 13-15 so far this season. Caitlin just got there. She has the pieces. Have you watched them play the last week? Yeah, the last 3 games specifically. And they look like a completely different team. She looks like a completely different player. They look like a completely different team. Because she did the work during the All-Star break.
They.
Her.
They.
Caitlin said, I don't want to do none of that. I'm going to the lab. What really sets Clark apart in this MVP race is her impact beyond traditional statistics. TV ratings for Fever games doubled when she played. Her jersey became the highest selling in WNBA history for a rookie. She's bringing new viewers to the league at a pace not seen since Candace Parker's rookie season. MVP voters consider these factors, even if they're not in the box score. Former MVPs are taking notice too. Elena Del Don recently commented that Clark's playing style reminds her of herself at that age, but with better passing ability. Stewart mentioned that defending Clark requires game planning unlike any other young player she's faced. These endorsements from elite players matter in MVP voting. Looking at her late season surge more closely, the numbers become even more impressive. In the final month, Clark led all guards in fourth quarter scoring. Her clutch shooting percentage jumped to 45%. She wasn't just accumulating stats. She was winning games. That's what MVP voters look for. The Olympic break proved crucial for her development. It gave her time to study film, adjust to the WNBA's pace, and work on specific weaknesses. Coming back, she showed a new understanding of when to attack and when to facilitate. Her pick-and-roll chemistry with Aaliyah Boston improved dramatically. They became one of the league's most efficient duos in the final stretch. The competition for MVP isn't just fierce. It's historically loaded. Aya Wilson stands as the current favorite at plus 185, and for good reason. She's dominated the league for years, but several factors suggest Clark could overcome these odds and make history. Let's start with Wilson's situation. The Aces lost key pieces in free agency. Their depth isn't what it was during their championship runs. While Wilson remains elite, her supporting cast changes might affect her numbers. MVP voters notice these things. How did you like the video? Please tell us by commenting and also subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video. They look at team success alongside individual statistics. Clark, meanwhile, enters her second season with an improved roster. The Fever added veteran shooters to space the floor. They brought in experienced defenders to ease the defensive burden. Most importantly, they hired Stephanie White, whose offensive system perfectly matches Clark's strengths. Now we see the difference. She's like, nah, I'm going to chase that MVP because ain't nobody ing with me. Well, there's also, I would say when was the last time you made it to the playoffs? Her team. A long time ago. 2016. There are two other players that she would also have to leapfrog to get. I would say Brianna Stewart and Nafisa Collier are. Looking at previous MVP winners' second seasons tells us something interesting. The leap from year 1 to year 2 often defines careers. Parker did it in 2008. Elena Del Don nearly did it. Brianna Stewart showed similar growth. Clark's rookie numbers already rival or exceed all of theirs at the same stage. The schedule also favors Clark's MVP case. The Fever play 15 nationally televised games this season, nearly double last year's total. MVP races aren't just won on the court, they're won in memorable moments that voters can't ignore. More national exposure means more opportunities for Clark to create these moments. White's already reshaping the offense around Clark's unique abilities. They're installing sets that utilize her long-range shooting to create space for others. They're developing quick-hitting plays that minimize her time handling against pressure. The early practice footage shows a more diverse offensive approach than last season. The turnover numbers should naturally decline with these changes. Last year's 5.6 per game led the league, but context matters. She handled the ball more than any rookie in history. The new system spreads playmaking responsibilities more evenly. Early scrimmages show Clark playing more off-ball, finding shots in rhythm rather than always creating under pressure. Her shooting efficiency stands to improve dramatically. The 41% field goal percentage and 34% three-point percentage from last year came against constant double teams. Now she'll have more space to operate. The Fever added shooters specifically to prevent defenses from loading up on Clark. The team's defensive additions matter too. Clark won't have to expend as much energy on defense, leaving her fresher for offensive possessions. They can now hide her more effectively on defense without compromising the team's schemes. This energy conservation could lead to better fourth quarter performance. Chemistry with Aaliyah Boston could push both players toward MVP consideration. Their pick-and-roll efficiency in the final month last season rivaled any duo in the league. A full off-season together, plus White's offensive tweaks, should make them even more dangerous. Market impact plays a role in MVP voting whether voters admit it or not. Clark's already the most marketable player in the league. TV ratings spike for Fever games. Social media engagement dwarfs other stars. These factors subtly influence voters' perception of value to the league. The schedule's early difficulty could actually help her case. The Fever face 7 playoff teams in their first 10 games. If Clark leads them to a strong start against this competition, the MVP narrative will build early. Early season momentum often carries weight in award races. White's already setting expectations high. In recent interviews, she's talked about Clark in the context of all-time greats. She's implementing offensive sets that were successful with Diana Taurasi and Phoenix. The comparison isn't subtle. She believes Clark can reach that level. Statistical projections support Clark's MVP case. Analytics models predict her scoring to rise to around 25 points per game. Assist numbers should stay high, even with reduced turnovers. The efficiency metrics project significant improvement with better spacing and system fit. The intangibles favor Clark too. Her work ethic's already legendary among teammates. She's usually first in the gym, last to leave. Veterans mention her film study habits unprompted. These traits typically lead to major second-year improvements. This MVP race is getting intense. Drop a comment with your prediction and hit subscribe to catch every development as the season unfolds. The league's marketing already positions Clark as the face of the WNBA's future. While this doesn't directly influence MVP voting, it creates a narrative framework that voters subconsciously consider. If she performs at an elite level, this narrative advantage could matter in close voting. Recent rule changes might benefit Clark's style, too. The emphasis on perimeter freedom of movement helps players who create off the dribble. Her ability to draw fouls from three-point range becomes even more valuable under current officiating trends. The Fever's improved bench could actually help her MVP case. Better rest patterns should lead to stronger fourth-quarter performance. Last year, her efficiency dropped late in games due to heavy minutes. This season, they can manage her workload better while maintaining team success. White's already installed sets that showcase Clark's greatest strength, her ability to shoot from anywhere. The offense now includes more off-ball screens and misdirection actions to free her for shots. These plays should lead to higher percentage looks, without sacrificing volume. Looking at MVP voting patterns, narrative matters alongside numbers. Clark's potential to be the youngest MVP since Parker creates a compelling story. If she leads the Fever to the playoffs while putting up elite numbers, the narrative practically writes itself. The competition from younger stars adds another layer to Clark's MVP case. Players like Ryan Howard and Alyssa Smith are emerging as elite talents, but Clark's ability to elevate teammates sets her apart. Her assist numbers don't just show playmaking skill, they demonstrate leadership. The Fever's marketing department's already preparing for the possibility. They're planning special MVP campaign nights. Local sponsors are creating content around her historic chase. The organization believes this isn't just possible, it's probable. International attention adds another dimension. Clark's global following grows daily. WNBA League Pass subscriptions in Europe spiked after her late-season surge. MVP voters consider global impact, especially as the league expands its international presence. Analytics teams around the league project significant improvement in Clark's efficiency metrics. Her shot selection analysis shows better decision-making even in preseason workouts. The game's slowing down for her, which typically leads to better shooting percentages and fewer turnovers. Her conditioning program this offseason focused specifically on late-game endurance. Teammates report she's noticeably stronger. This physical development should help maintain performance levels through the grueling WNBA schedule. Jersey sales and ticket demand continue setting records. While these factors don't directly influence MVP voting, they create an atmosphere of expectation that voters can't ignore. The league's growth partially rides on Clark's success. Practice footage shows improved defensive awareness, too. While defense isn't her calling card, even small improvements here strengthen her MVP case. Complete players tend to earn more voter respect than defensive specialists. The Fever's potential playoff push could be the final piece. MVPs rarely come from non-playoff teams. If Clark leads Indiana to the postseason while maintaining elite numbers, the award becomes increasingly likely. Historical voting patterns suggest timing matters. Early season performance often carries extra weight in narrative building. If Clark starts hot, the MVP conversation will center around her by mid-season. The MVP race starts now. Drop a comment with your prediction and hit subscribe to catch every update on Clark's historic season. Next week, we're breaking down the exact changes White's making to unlock Clark's full potential. Thanks for watching and subscribe my channel.